Good day, everybody. So thank you for joining yet another episode of Ascended ATV Podcast. Today, I have an awesome guest of a different genre. We're going to switch gears a little bit, and this is a great opportunity to just know about the resources that are out there for you. He is actually the owner of St. Hilaire Motorsports. Mr. Josh St. Hilaire, how are you, sir?
Hey, good, Shane. Thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you. I appreciate you agreeing to meet with us today and talk about what you have going on up there and just how you're helping this awesome community we have.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I like what you're doing, and I definitely appreciate you thinking of me. And, I don't feel important enough to be on something like this, but it's definitely cool. So we'll give it a go.
Well, certainly there's enough people out there that are actually talking about you, so that's what put you on my radar. And I said, that's an individual I want to talk to and, hear more about what he's doing. I mean, they just don't stop talking about the quality of your work. So that's fantastic. So with that being said, how long have you been working on machines?
So me personally, I finally convinced my parents to help me get my first motorcycle when I was 8. And my father was an automotive mechanic. He was an automotive technician. And so, although he wasn't a motorcycle mechanic, we were always doing our own maintenance, and it was always something that came easy to me. So, I mean, honestly, I started tinkering around that 9-10 years old age, and obviously it progressed to get more in depth and serious. And but yeah, I mean, 9-10 years old, I was doing pretty in-depth maintenance, more than some grown adults do at that age,
Right.
So that's when I pretty much got started, and it grew from there for sure.
And when did you start doing it professionally?
So I opened the business in 2009. So November of 2009, I was 17 years old. I actually couldn't legally register a business name yet.
Right.
So that's when I opened the business. I had customers as early as 15 years old. I raced motocross, grew up racing motocross, riding dirt bikes, riding snowmobiles. And my capabilities, just kind of started getting around, and people started asking me to, maintain their bikes and fix their bikes, and, maintenance and preseason preparation on snowmobiles. And that's kind of what I started doing to pay for my motocross racing when my parents started, backing away from it a little bit.
Right.
And it's funny, the opportunity to start my business came when a guy who actually owned a V-twin repair place near me. So he did, strictly Harley Davidson motorcycles. I was going around looking for race sponsorship, and I dropped my resume, and he said to me, I think it was like a week later, I can't do any sponsorship for you, but what do you think about coming in here and doing your mechanical work that you're doing out of my shop, and you can pay me a rent, and it was started real small. He gave me a really good opportunity and a good deal. And I think it was actually, when I was 17, I think it was like a percentage of my work. It was reasonable. And he made all the money on parts that I got through him. It was something to that effect. And so that's how it got started, but that didn't last long. I mean, it took off for me, and unfortunately for him, his business didn't go the way that he wanted to. Mine continued to grow, and we did power sports and motorcycles, not really Harley stuff. That was kind of his deal. And he ended up closing up shop, and we were at that point pretty much renting his whole building at that point. I was, I think, 19 at the time, and we found out that he was going to be losing the building. And this was coming into a bad time of year. It was like winter, and mind you, I had been paying rent, I had been paying the electric bills, the heat bills, I had been paying everything at that point. And he gave me as much notice as he could, and you know, then I started looking for something else, and it was really difficult to find other spots to do the business and operate it.
Sure.
I did find something, but it wasn't really what I wanted. And at that point, I actually almost accepted a job at a dealership close by as a technician. And something just didn't feel right about it. I don't know. It was a good job. I mean, I was going to be making, you know, gosh, at the time I would have been making more than I was making for my business. You know, it was still earlier on, and you know, the pay was good, and especially for my age, I was in my early 20s, and I was making, you know, mid $20 an hour. It was pretty good. And just something didn't feel right. I had accepted the job, and I had to go into the owner and said, you know, hey, I really hate to do this, but it's just not the right time. Something just doesn't feel right. And he understood. So I stuck it out and found out that somebody was buying the building that we were in. And although it wasn't ideal, he offered me to lease a small portion of the building back. And so we stayed in there for, it must have been another 2 years or so. And then the building that we're in now popped up, and we jumped on that. So yeah, a little bit of a bumpy road at times, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, business ownership, you just never know. It's, you know, those people out there that say, oh man, you're so lucky. It's like, well, you don't understand all the risks that are taken as a business owner, and such, and
the risk, and you know, the sacrifice, you know, and for me it was sacrificing the normal kind of lifestyle for someone that age. I mean, don't get me wrong, I became more serious with my business later on. You know, although you know, it was a full-time deal for me, you know, I didn't have to have family to take care of, and you know, I was renting a cheap place, and you know, so things changed over time, of course, but yeah, it's a big sacrifice, and it's not for everybody, you know, and I don't know if I were to have started midlife with a family and all that, you know, I don't know, who knows how things would have played out. You just, you know, it's different when you have more responsibilities and things like that. But I knew at that age that if I worked hard and really put my head down and kept at it, that it would turn into something, you know, really good. And that's, so that's what I did. And I'm glad I have. It's a lot of fun. So
that's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's one of the best modifications that you love to do? Like,
well, as we've talked about a little bit before, our dealership, you know, we started as a repair shop and have kind of morphed and grown into a dealership, you know, a full service dealership with franchises that we sell and things like that. But my favorite thing to do, even still today, is I love building engines. You know, I love building engines, and more specifically motocross engines or anything that's going to be used for racing. You know, so I do like porting and polishing. I enjoy it. There's not a lot of money to be made in it because it's very labor intensive, but I enjoy doing it. And just in general, just prepping a bike for racing of any kind, it just takes a certain level of technical understanding and precision that not the average motorcycle technician will have. It's not you really have to, what do I want to say? You really have to know the little tricks and things that you accumulate over the years, you know, and when you're a dealer technician, a lot of times you're under the gun to fix stuff and make money by being flat rate or however else you're paid. And you just don't always have that time to learn those things. So
the nuances.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that can kind of make us a little different from some other places. But yeah, I would say race engine building in general is really enjoyable for me. If I could say tomorrow that I could make the living that I make now and just build engines all day, I think I would. But it'd be a tall order, you know. So, but I say that, but I enjoy all aspects of the business. It's just fun.
You know, that's what's really unique about your location is that you actually started off as a shop, a maintenance shop, and turned into a dealership instead of a dealership acquiring a maintenance shop. So
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
a
It is funny, and I've never
great
thought of it
story.
that way because a lot of dealers do end up reverting to, they give up their franchises or whatever and
Hmm.
revert to being a repair shop because they're tired of the manufacturer's demands or whatever it may be.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's a rarity. I always knew what I would want to do, and I knew what it would take to make an above average living, and I knew it wasn't going to just happen for me. Um, Spinning wrenches all day long, which there's nothing wrong with that. You can make a lot of money, but I sacrificed a lot growing up and I worked really hard and I know what I wanted and I knew that to grow, that's what we would have to do,
Right.
and
Yeah.
as time went on, more of the fun for me in business was actually working hard at growing and, where can we become more profitable and what markets or segments can we get into to grow, that sort of thing. And that's become fun for me in the same way that I've enjoyed engine building and things like that. It's
Right.
the
Right.
business side of it is enjoyable for me. Someday in the future, I would love to, maybe do consulting at some point or something to
Hmm.
that level, and I enjoy that. I think it's fun to improve.
Right. Right. What brands do you carry at your dealership?
So we sell Sherco motorcycles, which are a French off-road, dirt bike manufacturer that competes with KTM,
Hmm.
Husqvarna, now Gas. We were a Gas dealer. Unfortunately, Gas was purchased by KTM, and KTM basically clipped every existing gas dealer if they weren't already a KTM dealer, which is a shame because we were a top 10 gas dealer in the country um,
Uh.
prior to being, having it taken away from by KTM.
Hmm.
Um, that's a whole long story, but
Yeah.
so
Right.
Sherco, we sell a brand called Rieju, which is a Spanish, also motorcycle manufacturer, family owned, over, I think, 75 years of business. They actually bought the platform of the gas dirt bike that we sold before.
Okay.
So that's actually why we set up with them, because we were able to continue selling the product that we knew and were familiar with and we believed in.
Hmm.
And the people who ran Gas North America prior to being purchased by KTM actually now run the company that imports Rieju. So,
Okay.
familiar faces, familiar people, just worked out, and that's been good. Our number one brand as far as sales volume is CFMOTO. They are a ATV side-by-side manufacturer.
Yep.
They're
Yep.
exploding in popularity. I think the first year we sold them, it was the 2019 model year, so it would have been, I think, in 2019. I think the first whole year we sold 38 machines.
Hmm.
Last year we sold over 150. This year we sold 55 just in March alone. So they're growing fast, and
Right. Just people get
so
more faith in the quality of them and so forth. They're
yeah, yep. People are enticed by the price and then the standard features with them. So if you're buying a utility ATV or a side by side, they're coming with power steering, they're coming with winches, they're all coming with aluminum wheels. The side by sides are all coming with roofs, 4-wheel drive with locking differentials and longer warranty than Polaris and Can-Am, which Polaris and Can-Am are generally the two closest competitors that we're dealing against.
right. Sure.
So yeah, they're first it was the price that people were coming to look at, but now people just want CFMOTOs. I mean, we get calls of people that already owned them or friends that own them, and they're just buying them like crazy. We keep running out, honestly.
That's great.
So yeah, so CFMOTO, Cobra Motorcycles, which is a
Okay.
American mini cycle brand.
Hmm.
They make race ready kids bikes. They only make 50 and 65 cc bikes. They are known as the top of the line. If your kid is racing motocross and they're in the 50 classes or on a 65, their Cobra is the winningest motorcycle brand in those
Huh.
sizes, you know, on a nationwide basis. So, and then we sell Mission trailers. So Mission is what's called an Alcom company. So Mission, or Alcom, I should say, makes Mission trailers, Snow Pro trailers, High Country trailers.
Okay.
Different spin-offs of basically the same trailer, but we're a Mission easy hauler trailer dealer.
Oh,
And that's it for now. We've worked on some other stuff. You know, and we're going to continue working on, you know, possibly other brands. We'd like to link up with other manufacturers that we feel would be a good fit. We are in kind of a congested area for some of the major players, you know, like Kawasaki, Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha, Polaris. Those are all, there's dealers that are too close to us. So
right.
to get those, we'd have to get into some sort of purchase, you know, buyout sort of thing. But
Right.
we're pretty happy with where we're at. And we do pre-owned product as well of all brake makes and models. So anything pre-owned, we buy, we fully service, detail, give it a clean bill of health. They're sold as is unless they have a manufacturer's warranty, but we also have the opportunity for customers to purchase extended warranties on those pre-owned vehicles. So if they're not comfortable buying a vehicle as is, they have that option, which is great. And that's it. We also sell those little, it's more through our parts department, but those, I don't know if you've seen those Stasic electric kids bikes. I don't know if you've seen those yet, but
Yeah, I've seen a lot of different, like last Christmas, I bought my daughter's an electric, is it Russo 4-wheeler?
yeah.
And that thing is something else. I mean, they put on level 3 and they're cooking 25 miles an hour almost. And yep. So
yeah, no, that's cool. The Stasic brand has been, it's they kind of consider it a balance bike, and it actually runs off of a little electric battery that kind of looks like a drill battery. And they're extremely popular in the motocross crowd. They've been going to all the AMA Supercross races and you know, kind of doing demo events there and things like that. So those are really popular, and it's cool because it's a way to get the younger kids into the sport. You know, they're reasonably affordable, and when compared to like a little kid's dirt bike, you know, they're quiet, they don't take fuel. It's just a good way to get the kids out doing stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. So
cool. You got a lot going on for sure.
Yep. Days like today remind me of that. That's for sure. Like a chicken with my head cut off running around. But yep, there is we got quite a wide spread of things that we do for sure.
Cool. Well, what's one of the best and funniest stories you've either witnessed or that you heard about that you'd love to share today?
Best or funniest stories? Man, there's probably been quite a few. This is probably one I should have prepared for a little bit more, but you know, we as a staff, like it's me and 7 other people, right? So it's we have a lot of fun together in general. I mean, there's probably stories that, you know, a lot of people would kind of not understand, but let me think about that one a little bit.
All right.
We'll go back to it. Yeah. Sorry, I should have prepared for that one a little bit better.
That's all right. No worries. What's one thing that you wish owners of their ATVs, 4-wheelers, snowmobiles, or whatever, you would wish they would do to care for their machines? That's like a big pet peeve of yours.
Number one, this is easy. Number one, most important thing that people do not do is wash and detail their machines. Some people do. I'm not saying that nobody does, but you know, every time you operate the machine within reason, I mean, if it's got a little dust on it, okay, that's one thing. But when you get that thing muddy, spend the 3-4 hours it takes to soap that thing up, scrub it, pressure wash it. You know, if you can afford a nice machine like that, you can afford a pressure washer. Keeping that machine clean and detailed is going to keep the machine in better shape overall for a longer period of time. It's going to help you find issues as they arise, and, you know, make it easier for you to do the maintenance on the machine. and it's going to make the maintenance that you don't do on the machine cost you less at the dealership. When somebody brings in a machine to me and it's all muddy, we're charging them. We're charging them to wash the thing to get it ready to go. So if I had to pick, and it's so easy, the number one thing that people seem to neglect is washing their machine. It's just, to me, it's a no-brainer. But I was also a professional motocross mechanic at one point, so it's like those bikes needed to be spotless all the time. So that carries over for the most part into everything that I own mechanically, and I as a mechanic, I understand the importance of it too. Wash your machines.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny, when I was in Texas and I got back into the sport of four-wheeling, the mud down there is so thick that it get on your machine. I thought I was just wash it off with a hose. No, I immediately had to buy a pressure washer and cut through it and so forth. But it does take some extra time, but it is absolutely worth it. I can't agree more. Like I said, it's an easy thing to do. It's like
it's step one, right? I mean, it's step one to anybody's maintenance program, right? Like everybody that owns a mechanical thing, whether it be a dirt bike, an ATV, a lawnmower, you should have at least a mental mechanical program for that machine, right?
Right.
It should include cleaning and detailing it, and then the maintenance, the oil changes and the air filter cleanings and greasing and lubing and all that stuff. And it always starts with a clean vehicle for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the biggest challenges you're trying to accomplish right now or get over?
Number one, for us personally right now, we're looking to either buy and adapt or build a new dealership facility. We've just outgrown the space that we're in. We've got 5,000 square feet with 5 manufacturers, 3 technicians, a full parts department, a showroom, and we're just bursting at the seams. So working on that right now, and that's a tedious process to go through, getting bank approvals and all that, and then after you do that, finding it and finding the space or whatever. So that's a big hurdle for us, but that's the next big step. And then beyond that, on more of an industry-wide issue, inventory, inventory of parts, inventory of vehicles. A lot of people, it's funny, customers might not always believe us when we blame parts delays and stock issues, but it's a big problem.
Every industry suffers from the supply chain being broken somewhere.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And that will continue to be a problem. We were kind of looking at doing another location in a different spot, a second location with a major manufacturer. And we spoke with them recently, and, they said, "Hey, Josh," the rep, was like, "Don't go buying a building in that spot because, we're a year plus out before we're going to be able to provide product." They're that far back. So our industry just had explosive growth in such a short period of time. Then mix it all in with, world logistics delays, increased cost of shipping and logistics, especially ocean freight. And then COVID, obviously. I mean, businesses both home and abroad being affected by staffing issues from people being out with COVID or local government shutdowns or whatever it may be. It's the worst I've ever seen it in 11 years. And even some of my staff some of which have been in the business for 30, 40 years even, have said they've never seen it like this, so it's just two things in one. Nobody could have ever predicted the power sports business would pick up the way that it did. And then coupled with a lot of the products coming from overseas, whether it be Europe or Asia or wherever else, it's definitely been tricky. So that's definitely more of an industry-wide thing. So I can tell to people listening, if your dealer's telling you they're having trouble getting your parts, it's probably true. They're probably not pulling your leg, because we're seeing it pretty bad, and
Yeah.
it sucks to have to use that as a sob story, but it's the truth,
Yeah. So with that being said, take care of your machines and don't break them, because you might not be able to fix them.
Yeah, or at least plan ahead, plan ahead, because, our turnaround time in our service department has been affected because of it. You get something up on the lift and you start working on it, and, maybe normally you'd have the part in stock, but you don't, because we're out of them. They're on back order. So you order it and then it goes and gets rolled away into storage until we can get back to it. And so there's a lot more of, especially in the service department, touching a vehicle and then putting it away and touching it again. So these extra steps are making everything take, I would say, at least it's honestly almost doubling our turnaround time. It really is.
It makes so much sense.
But it's reality.
Yeah.
We've been doing a pretty good job, but it's and I've heard worse out there, but it's tough for sure.
Yeah. Well, geez, absolutely. People just need to be aware, and hopefully they're patient. But
you have to be, because and don't get me wrong, there's good dealerships and repair places, and there's bad ones, just like any other type of business. And the honest ones, who they are, and you can deal with them. And if they're telling you that it's a certain way, then it probably is. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be tough. The last minute people that don't plan ahead for like their Memorial Day ride trips or Labor Day or summer plans or whatever it may be, they might be disappointed if they're not getting their stuff together.
Right. Get it together now, because the time will be here before you know it.
Yep.
And so, well, if someone want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to reach out to you?
So there's a few ways. I mean, the old-fashioned way, call us. That's you'll get a friendly, happy person talking to you on the phone. Our phone number in New Hampshire is 603-948-1015. You can reach us on our website, www.sthilaire.motorsports.com, and St. Hilaire is spelled STHILAIRE. You can email me, josh@sthilaire.motorsports.com. You can go on our Facebook page. You can go on our Instagram page. That's pretty much what we got. So if you can't reach us one of those ways, you got to come see us in person.
All right. Well, fair enough. And what I'll do is I'll put all that information in the description down below this video, so people can just either click on it or just dial away. There's too much farther. So, but Josh, thank you so much for your time. And I appreciate you being with us today, and great resource. Like I said, I look forward to hopefully meeting you. By chance, are you going to the ATV Invasion?
The ATV Invasion, is that what they're doing up in Jericho instead of the festival? I doubt it, unfortunately. I doubt I will, just due to staffing, not even staffing issues, but we're just so busy. I just don't know that we'll have the time and resources to put it together. But we'd like to. We'll see. If not this year, maybe next year. We've been keeping Jericho ATV Festival on our radar, and obviously the past 2 seasons they've canceled it. So
right.
Maybe we'll be able to hit it next year. But who knows? Definitely. You never know. Maybe we'll be able to sneak up there.
Well, if you can, it's going to be quite a time for sure. They're going to be doing a lot more than they normally do.
You going up there?
Yeah, I'm going to be up there.
Yep.
And I'll be covering it and so forth. So.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So cool. Anyway, again, thank you very much, and we'll see you on the flip side.
All right, man. Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.